Welcome to the Road to French Lick. I'm Ryan Ballengee. Brendan Sweeney's with me. We're recapping the 2025 year. Please stay tuned to the end of the show. We've got a really cool montage for you of all of the players in the Korn Ferry Tour from the season that were on our 24-episode arc this year. It turns out that there were a lot of them, and a lot of them are now heading to the PGA Tour in 2026, Brendan.
That was an exciting year, man. Wrapped up with a really cool championship at the Pete Dye course in French Lick. And what a great way to finish it out. Chandler Boucher wins. Not only did he win at the Pete Dye course, he had a French Lick logo on his bag, and that was good for us. And then you just look at a great year that we started off in Bahamas. You and I did, playing in a pro-am and with Patrick Culver and Dan McCarthy, and took it from there. And Hank Libiota wins that tournament. And you look at a couple of pivotal points in that tournament alone. I look at James Nichols, who was, I think, in second or third place going into the 16th hole, and cranks out a 9, and then his season just sort of went this way. But moving on from there, and from the Bahamas all the way through the Central Plains, and finishing up in the Midwest, it was a pretty exciting year for the Korn Ferry Tour. And the top 20 players did receive their cards, and they're moving on to bigger and better things. So good for them.
Yeah, our friend Bryson Nimmer, who we had the opportunity to play with the prior year in March last year, really cool moment for you and I, and obviously for him to win in Riviera Maya, win in a playoff, do it in dramatic fashion, and then just to get to celebrate with him, a guy who's got a place to play next year and the year after that. He's got 2 years on the Korn Ferry Tour guaranteed, and when we talked to him about it, that was really important to him to have that security for the next couple seasons.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool too to see, the emerging of stars. You look at somebody like Neil Shipley, who is now, I think, a household name, and he really made his mark on the Korn Ferry this year. Austin Sutherman, same thing. Johnny Kiefer, who just shot lights out, and who's, he's top 50 on the PGA Tour right now.
He's one of the Masters.
Yeah, he's great. And, Crystal Lampert, Emilio Gonzalez, S.H. Kim, who played in a playoff with Hank in the Bahamas, did great. But, you look at guys like the guys that won once, Kyle Westmoreland, he won, he didn't get his card. Bryson won, didn't get his card. And it just goes to show you that with the number of cards being reduced down to 20, that you got to do more than just be a flash in the pan. And you look at Sidarjan Yelamaraju, my man. He won in the Bahamas as well, and he got his card. He was there at the end. So, these guys are grinders. Had a great opportunity to over the last couple of years, to meet these guys, develop a relationship. You and I have done a couple of really knockdown, drag out great shows, and we've had some great experiences and some great people. And you'll see at the end of the show some of the folks that we've spoken to if we haven't seen them before.
Yeah, it's been really cool to kind of get to know some of these folks, as you mentioned, to kind of form a relationship with folks associated with the Korn Ferry Tour. It's not obviously getting the same attention that the PGA Tour does week to week, or these are folks who are in many cases really getting their first big exposure to high-end, high-level professional golf. Young kids who are like Johnny Kiefer, who just got out of school and is just becoming an adult, and now he's a top 50 player in the world.
What about Blaze Brown?
Right, 17-year-old, now 18-year-old kid who had to figure it out on the fly, almost got it. I mean, I know you're not quite in the top 20, Blades, but man, you're close. And for a kid that age, I can't remember what I was doing at 18, but I promise you it wasn't anything as productive as what he's been doing. But also to see the guys that have been there, the Josh Teeters of the world who have been there,
who
been one on the been one on the Korn Ferry Tour, been there on the PGA Tour, and are still keeping their dream alive. And they have that. The Rob Oppenheim's the world. Rob's such a great guy. Just so many people that run the gamut on the Korn Ferry Tour. It's what makes it unique. It's why it's easy to kind of fall in love with it.
Well, Ryan, thanks for the opportunity, man. We've had a really good time, and we have a pretty good guest coming up here with Andres Gonzalez in a few minutes. What a great individual he is. We've had a lot of fun times with him. I want to get a T-shirt that says "I survived a week with Andres," and we'll wear it proudly. So, but I'm wearing one of his shirts now, so he's got a good little thing going there. But to the stars of tomorrow, glad to be part of your journey. I wish you, Ryan, and your family a very Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you down the road. We have a new show format coming up in 2026. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the PGA Tour and a couple other things that are popping up in the future. So keep us in mind, and we'll talk to you later.
French Lick, Indiana, our little corner of the world, has big things waiting. It's where legends were made, on the court and on the course. Walter Hagen, Colin Montgomery, Betsy Rawls, and Mickey Wright. It's where life is lived to the fullest, and where unexpected adventures are around every corner. Big things are waiting. Are you in? Visit FrenchLick.com and start your escape here in Indiana.
Welcome to the Road to French Lick. This is our wrap-up of the 2025 season. I'm here with Ryan Ballengee and PGA Tour professional Andres Gonzalez, fighting the elements in Northwest Territory. How is the Arctic polar blast of water that you're getting up there?
Man, I've never heard of an atmospheric river, but that's what we are in the middle of. We just had a blizzard yesterday up in the Cascade Mountains. I know a lot of the ski resorts up in our area have been worried about just getting snow. But now that they have snow, half the roads are closed and washed out up here. So who knows? The actual tourism aspect of our winter life is it's a little bit in limbo right now. And I know that our ski resorts are hoping that these roads get fixed sooner than later.
Oh my goodness! Well, our thoughts and prayers go out to the people out there who are affected. I know it's a tough time of the year to have a weather element like this, but it's I'm sure a lot of people have been displaced, and you're hardy folk up there. You guys have the Seahawks and the Mariners. Now you have road troubles. So sorry about that.
Yeah,
hey, look, we're wrapping up the 2026 or 25 season here. We had a great opportunity to hang out with you at the Korn Ferry Championships at French Lick, and just a couple thoughts of your recap of the season. Guys that surprised didn't make it out, and guys that you're surprised who made it out.
I don't know if there's ever a surprise on who makes it out. The Korn Ferry Tour is kind of that stepping ground on getting to that lifelong dream of the PGA Tour. But I think it's very easy to say the guys that you are impressed with and the guys that we're going to be watching out for. Surely the number one guy on that list, Johnny Kiefer, just seems to be really coming into his own. He's a young athlete that played lacrosse as a kid and seems to be transitioning nicely into the professional game, but came out and just absolutely destroyed the Korn Ferry Tour this year with a couple wins as well as double-digit numbers in top tens. I'm interested to see what Christo Lamprecht does also. He finished 9th on the list, the tall man, 6'8" out of Georgia Tech in South Africa. He absolutely smashes the ball, and if he somehow is able to find a fairway on the PGA Tour or fairways, I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with out there. The difference between the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour is that, one, you have the guys that are aspiring to get to the PGA Tour. So the courses may be not as difficult or as demanding. I think that we saw that was not the case for the Tour Championship at French Lick. Playing the die course there, having the ability to play that course up to 8,100 yards is absolutely absurd. But 7,600 yards is pretty much what they played it at for the week, and it still gave a great test to every player that was out there. We see a few players also that are making comebacks. Hank Lebioda, Adrian Dumonte-Chissard is also heading back to the PGA Tour. He was one of those guys in 2023 that was up there, just finished second on PGA University, went onto the PGA Tour, didn't keep his card, but I think it's tough when you go out and you just get straight onto the PGA Tour. All of a sudden you get thrown to the wolves. Didn't have a ton of success, but came back onto the Korn Ferry Tour where he was one of the stronger players out there. And I think that's going to be another player that we see start to make a name for himself amongst the best players in the world in the upcoming years.
Well, you look at the week before where Adrian won out in Oklahoma, he shot 33 under for a playoff event. That's absolutely insane. And hey Ryan, didn't somebody shoot a 59 the same day, and he came out to the tee box the next day, and he was like 4 strokes behind Adrian. So that was brutal. Absolutely
8
brutal.
shots back.
Yeah, it was way more
8
than
shots
that.
back.
8 shots back when he teed off, and he shot 59 the day before. That was David Chatfield.
Yeah. Oh, David Chatfield being the first graduate of the University of Notre Dame to get his PGA Tour card. So, being an Indiana guy, marrying a girl from Indiana, I should say. We're proud of the Hoosiers, and we'll give him an honorary Hoosier stamp because Notre Dame bailed out of their playoff performance on the football field. But the IU Hoosiers are doing pretty damn well this week. So, with that being said, you look at guys, go back a year, Andres, back to the 24 season, and you had guys that were like almost there. And one guy that jumps out at me is Sam Bennett. He missed getting his card by 1 stroke. And then this year, he pretty much was a no-show. I'm not sure if he was injured or what. But do you see like a lot of these guys have a flash in the pan and you think, man, they're the best thing out there. And all of a sudden you never hear of them again. Or they pop up like 5 years down the road. It's like, whatever happened to that guy? In your experiences, do you see a lot of that stuff?
Yeah, I think that there's lots of guys, especially when you see junior golf to college golf. I know that's not at the professional level, but you're going to see guys that just seem like the can't miss kids. And the same thing with college going into professional ranks. You think that they're going to get out there and just have instant success and be able to just really transfer in. And in theory, you should be able to, right? It's the same game. The hole's the same size. You're switching golf courses every week. But a lot of it is the pressure of learning how to play professionally, learning that if you're not playing the weekend, you're not going to make any money. And that can put a different pressure on yourself than when you're playing amateur golf, and it doesn't matter quite as much to your livelihood. Once you start to kind of chase either whether it be money or you're seeing a lot of guys start to move to trying to chase distance, it puts a different aspect on your game where maybe you're not focusing on the right things. The number one thing I would tell people, young people, especially when you're starting to play professionally, is find a way to stay positive. You have to make sure that you're constantly working towards goals, and you have to make sure that you're not leaving yourself in a bad frame of mind. If you're not playing well, it's very easy to take your game and have that directly affect your life. If you're not playing well on the golf course, you can oftentimes go back home to your house or your hotel room that night and just think, man, I'm a bad person because I didn't play good golf. And that's just not the case. Being able to compartmentalize the way that your golf life is structured and the way that your personal life is structured is a big thing. And that's a huge learning aspect for a lot of these players out there. And for someone like Sam Bennett that won a U.S. Amateur, came up with a bunch of sponsorships, when you're not seeing success right away, and for somebody like that saw success his whole life, it's a new feeling for him, and it's something that in professional golf you kind of have to learn to adapt and to cope with.
I agree with that 100%. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
It's all right. Is there a real challenge at this level, to the point you just mentioned about Sam, that for really the first time, or pretty close to the first time for most of these players, you got to learn to deal with losing, and maybe losing pretty badly, and trying to kind of figure out how that fits into being a successful professional golfer and not letting it consume you and kind of adjusting to that reality.
Yes, I think that a lot of times you can be playing pretty well, but now you're in a field where it's not just – if you're in college, there's about that 4-year span of guys that you're dealing with. The pool is pretty small. When you get to professional golf, you're looking at the first team All-Americans, the second, the third, the honorable mentions. You're looking at all the All-Americans of every generation for about 20 or 25 years that you're competing against now, right? So now you're a small fish in a very big pond, and everybody wants to be that shark, right? So you're out there trying to figure out what you can do to get better, how to come. You're looking at other people's games and trying to take little tidbits from their games that you might be able to improve on. But what you need to do is really focus on what you're good at, become a great player in one aspect of the game that you're the best at, and just absolutely own it. Keep the rest of it up to snuff and try to get better at it as you go. But it's tough. When you start, you're going to see guys that struggle with putting, and all of a sudden in the offseason they go and they're just focused on putting, and then other aspects of their game may start to slide because they're putting so much emphasis on one thing. So it's really just a matter of staying well-rounded, trying to really manage your time well and focus on you. It's a very selfish game. The best players on the planet are really consumed with themselves and what they need to focus on, and I think that's what sets people apart. So I think a tough part is once you start doing that, your friends and your group of people that you surround yourself is going to get a little bit smaller. So then there's that mental aspect of maybe feeling bad, like you're leaving people behind, but at the same time, you got to do what you got to do to raise your game to be able to compete with these players.
I said, do you see like a lot of these players like surrounding themselves with their entourage of guys who are just basically kissing their ass?
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing that people are doing, because you want people there that are going to make you feel good about what you're doing. You want people there that are going to be encouraging you. You don't need somebody there that's giving you the gears all the time. You can do that with your boys and in practice rounds, but as far as guys that you don't really know, that's not really what guys are doing. And we're starting to see the whole Tiger effect from early 2000s, late, let's call it 1900s, just to date us a little bit, where guys are starting to work out more. So they have their physios, their nutritionists, their swing coaches, their sight coaches. They may not all be out at the same time, but when you get to bigger events, let's say major championships, that's when you're going to start to see all these people come together, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, but at the same time, all these people are on your team. They're there for you and trying to put you in the best place to succeed. And so you want people there. A lot of times with the caddy too, the caddy, it's not just getting numbers, it's knowing how to make you feel when things aren't going well, what to say to kind of get you out of that funk and make sure that you're staying on a positive note, because once you start thinking negatively, you really don't have a chance.
What was one of your most colorful experiences with one of your caddies?
Colorful? I don't know. I felt like I always had a pretty good relationship with my caddies, but I think one thing where I would really get on them, especially if it was a new, whenever anybody said, okay, let's say you have 157 yards, you'd be like, if they said about 157, or if they said 157-ish, this isn't going to last long, man, because we're out here and we're trying to make some money. Let's be precise with what we're doing so that we have a direct line of what we need to do.
Andre, what is the shock to the system that happens when you graduate from the Korn Ferry Tour and get to the PGA Tour? What are the things that are kind of most jarring, especially in those first couple of months, kind of leading into that reshuffle?
Well, I'll start with a positive note. The great thing and the awesome thing is that now there's no more school. You're done, whether you go to school or whether you go straight from amateur golf to professional golf without attending college. Me, that wasn't an option. But once I got done with school, it was awesome because all I had to do was focus on golf. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd go out and I'd work out and I'd practice, and that was it. My life was consumed by golf, which is, going back, one of the reasons that it's tough when you're not playing well, and it's easy to take that mentality off the golf course. But at the same time, when you're playing well, everything seems to be good. Playing good golf is a nice solution for most of life. I think the jarring thing is that you're out there and you're on your own. There's no more team golf. Nobody is out there wanting you to beat them. Everybody is out there looking to absolutely step on your throat. And though it's a gentleman's game and you're playing with a lot of guys that have the same mission, you want to beat them when they're playing their best. And it may be jovial and you may be cheering for them out on the golf course or saying good shot here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty cutthroat. And so when you're not playing well and somebody else is playing well, you're not making cuts on the weekend, and when you're not playing the weekend, you're not making money. So that can be a little bit stressful. And I think I had my college coach saying that you need to finish every round. You need to make sure that even if you're 5 under par, that you get it to the house at least even par on the last 3 holes, if not under par. So if you're not doing that and you're playing the last few holes over par, he said you might as well throw your wallet on the ground and let people take money out of it as they walk by, walking off that 18th green.
And then the shock from going, all right, everything worked out, got off the Korn Ferry Tour, going to the PGA Tour. What is the difference that you initially experienced going from the Korn Ferry Tour to the PGA Tour? What stands out right away?
Right away is that you have the classes that get out off of the Korn Ferry Tour and the guys that are staying there. So you have now the elite of the elite. And once you reach this lifelong goal of getting to the PGA Tour, the work hasn't even started yet. Now you got to make sure that you're doing the same things, but you're just doing them better. You have to manage your time a little bit better. You have to learn to say no, because once you get out there, you're kind of being pulled in different directions as far as media asks, which is not quite as much on the Korn Ferry Tour. Let's say you're going out and you're testing drivers, and all of a sudden one shaft company gets wind that you are testing a shaft, and every single shaft company is around you, and there's all these different options, right? So learning to say no and control your time. Saying no isn't a bad thing, and that goes back to sometimes you have to be a little bit selfish and look out for yourself and really focus on what you need to do. Most guys, whenever they go into a season, they have a plan on how they're going to put themselves in the best position for success. And if you're not doing that, or you start to deviate from it, then it can kind of make things spiral out of control to where you're just kind of out there and going through the motions. And that's not a recipe for success. You need to be able to stick to the game plan and really make sure that you're using your time efficiently.
Speaking of your time, what does 2026 bring to you? What's your game plan for this year coming up?
Yeah, still working for PGA Tour Live on ESPN Plus through the PGA Tour Studios back in Ponte Vedra Beach. My first event will be on the ground at Torrey Pines, which is always one of my favorites to attend just because it is a long golf course, long rough. It really tests every aspect of the game. And, my favorite part about stepping away from playing and now being a broadcaster is we're able to follow the best players in the world. So there's a very strong likelihood that when I get there, I'm going to be following 2 of the top 5 players ranked in the world, whether it be Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy or Justin Thomas, or Colin Morikawa. So being able to still be around the elite level of the game is very enjoyable for me. It makes retiring and stepping away from playing a little bit easier too, because these guys are the elite of the elite, and watching them execute on a big stage is pretty fulfilling and fun to watch.
Well, I'm sporting me a nice little number here.
I love that.
Want to talk about this?
Yeah, you have our professional leisure tour, our PLT Golf Pebble polo on right there. I love that you are wearing that. That's another thing I've gotten into. I teach a little bit up in Washington as well as broadcast, but about a year and a half ago, I got together with a group of partners and started a company called PLT Golf. PLT stands for Professional Leisure Tour, and that's pretty much what my life revolves around now. I went from playing on a big stage to playing very leisurely golf now. But as I got together with a group of partners to start the apparel company, I have a guy that's our CEO named Brian Weeks, and I approached him and just tried to figure out what my next move was going to be. This was probably in 2022. I had no idea what my life looked like beyond golf. I was always so golf centric and focused on trying to be one of the best players in the world that when I got done, I was just kind of lost at first. So kind of picked up teaching a little bit, but also needed something that could kind of fulfill me and get me going throughout the day and give me something to do. So we started the line, and the idea was to create something that would give back to charity with perpetuity. And so when we started PLT, it started with the idea that we were going to give back the greater of 10% revenue or 50% profits. We launched back in September of 2024, and to date, we have donated just over $1.7 million to deserving charities, which include the First Responders Children's Foundation, the Green Beret Foundation, the Humane Society, and the First Tee. So that's been something that's really been rewarding as far as, one, building a brand, learning a little bit about the apparel business and just business in general after spending an entire lifetime of hitting drivers and 7-irons, learning how to build a brand, what works, what doesn't, the whole in and outs of creating a line that people are going to like. But our number one success story has been people like the mission. With golf, the whole platform it's a gentleman's game, and the PGA Tour wraps a lot around their platform and giving back with charities. So I wanted to be a part of that. I liked everything that the PGA Tour did. Most everything I have in my life is from the PGA Tour and from playing golf. So I wanted to figure out something that I could do to still be in the golf world, even though fashion and apparel is not directly related, but we're putting it on the backs of golfers all over the planet. And while we're doing it, we're able to give back with our sales. So it's been a ton of fun. We're starting to see a lot of success here and a lot of traction in the last few months.
Well, an old guy told me once, if you dress in the 70s and talk in the 80s, you can shoot whatever you want, but you got to look good to do it. And with your gear, we love it. So keep those cards and letters coming. Andres, we thank you so much for your time. We wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. We look forward to seeing you down the road. I can't thank you enough for the support and friendship you've given us over the last couple of years with our participation with the Korn Ferry Tour. That has moved on. That ship has sailed. They will be in Richmond, Virginia coming up. But we had a great run with that. And to meet guys like you and to have 50 graduates from the Korn Ferry Tour on the PGA Tour with a French Lick stamp on their back, we're more than happy to do it. God bless and have a great holiday season, my friend. We will catch you down the road on the road to French Lick.
And Ryan, Brendan, thank you so much for having me. And if you guys need any Christmas gifts, go to pltgolf.com. Get yourself. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's, boys.
We wanted to wrap up 2025 here on the road to French Lick with one last look at all of the players who joined us on the show this year. It's been an incredible journey, and we really enjoyed sharing the Korn Ferry Tour with you. We'll change things a little bit in 2026, but we'll still be on the road to French Lick. So for Brendan Sweeney and everyone at the French Lick Resort, I'm Ryan Ballengee. For everyone at Golf Newsnet, happy holidays. Thank you again so much for your support. We will see you in 2026 on the road to French Lick. Enjoy.
Congrats, dude. Thank you. Check this out. From French Lick, Indiana, Taylor, we got a logo on his back. Adrian, ILL.
I know. Let's go!
Davis Chatfield. Congratulations, dude. You're going to the tour, man. That's it. Hey, man. French Lick Indiana delivers. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How's it going, Andrew?
Great to be here.
Kyle, how's your year been going so far? Hold up, baby.
Yes, sir.
How's it going out here? Patrick, we have the Alpha and Omega. We started off in the Bahamas with you.
Yes, sir.
A good little pro-am.
Yep.
Tell us about your year. What's going on? Welcome to the Road to French Lick,
Thanks.
man.
Yeah, it's been a fun year.
Awesome. What's going on, buddy? How's it treating you so far? Logan, welcome to the Road to French Lick, man. Congratulations, number one, on your win in Chile, and tell us about what's going on with you. What was the experience like?
Got
that South African twang to it.
Yeah.
Hey, Coop, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. How's everything working out this year on the old Korn Ferry Tour? I'm great. How are you, man?
I'm good.
All right, we're here with Ian. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
What do you think of Chicago so far?
It's great. I love coming here.
So Joey's gone. How's your season looking, man? How's it going, Josh?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Beautiful morning.
Yeah. Kevin, how you doing? How's the tour been treating you this year? What's it like on the tour so far? How many events have you played in so far? Sam, what's this year looking like? Where are you at? Robbie Shelton, what's going on, bud?
Not much.
How's life on the Korn Ferry? All right, Neil. What we got going on, man? How you liking Chicago so far? Adam Shank, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the Road to French Lick. We're glad to finally get you on. Congratulations. Had a great couple weeks. You and Brian Campbell came down to it down in Mexico. How was that going for you there? Live from Savannah, baby. Ray Gibson, what's going on, man?
Not much, Brian. How you doing?
Good. We're here in the Bahamas. What a tough place to be, especially talking from a guy from Syracuse, New York. Let's meet Dan McCarthy. Dan, thanks for taking the time not only to play with us today, but to put up with our shenanigans.